Good evening. Dr. Balfe?
Good evening, Carol Balfe, retired science teacher from the district. I wanted to address the comments Mr. Carver made because I have a strong interest in what happens at Annie Yates and in the school district. And I am very concerned about, in general, about doing a better job of vetting candidates. I think that's something, in general, we need to do a better job of up front. So on that sense, I do want to say that there's some things that I would agree with. However, I saw the email that was sent out by a teacher, I guess it's a couple weeks ago now, with some internet things about the proposed appointee. And when I looked at it very carefully, I also saw that there were a whole bunch of very positive ones, so that there's mixed stuff out there on the internet. But then I realized that the school that this gentleman had spent the longest at is right down the street from me, at a school that I have done a lot of work with over the years. And I just happened to be doing a project with somebody who was deeply involved in it during his whole tenure, and was meeting with her anyway. Somebody I highly respect and who has a really deep focus on equity and social justice in education, and focusing on what's right for kids and for parents and for teachers. I'd rather not name the name. So I asked her, I said, so what do you know about Dr. Mesfin, who is the candidate? And she said, well, first of all, students absolutely loved him. This was a middle school, Montero Middle School. Absolutely loved him. He has a real heart for kids. Secondly, parents loved him, and in this particular setting, and were very positive. Teachers were mixed, and that when he came in with a very, very strong equity focus. And that he tended to be very worried. This is a hill school in Oakland, and flatland kids were being basically bussed in. And they're huge, huge equity gap, and he was determined to try to work on closing that gap. Over the course of the years, that shifted quite a lot in terms of his working with teachers and his coming to realize you can't blame teachers, you have to work with them. This is from her perspective, but she has reason to believe that, and to have observed it firsthand, and she has observed when that kind of thing has not happened in other schools. And so I asked her, I said, well, if you were in a school where he was going to become the principal, how would you feel, knowing how he has evolved and having watched him professionally? And quite honestly, she said, I would be really happy to have him here. Now, that doesn't mean, that's one opinion, but it's one that's an informed opinion. The more important thing, and I would like to offer this to superintendent, to anybody on a search committee and the board, I think it's important to get out there and go out on Google, go out on Facebook, and find this stuff out first, and then do the kind of thing that I did. Now, I had nothing to do with the committee. I haven't talked to anyone on the committee. But get underneath it. Don't just take what's out there on the internet. Because as I learned, I was nervous, and because I had some trusted people. And it turned out that the people who became leaders in the school, who became strong advocates, were people I've worked with a lot over the years, and for whom I have a great deal of respect. So I just offer that as, we need to be careful and to be balanced in these things. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Balfe. Are there any other public